As I neared my 30s, I decided that a solo international trip was long overdue. One of the places I always visit when I travel is the local zoo, as I love animals and want the chance to see local wildlife. When I arrived at the zoo, 2 girls were leaving the ticket booth, their expressions twisted in disdain. "So rude," I overheard one mutter. The booth was manned by a clown, his face painted stark white, with exaggerated red lips stretched impossibly wide in a smile. I found it strange. I had never seen clowns at a zoo, much less at the entrance. As I picked up a zoo map after paying, I felt his gaze bore into me. I'm not afraid of clowns, but there was something unsettling about his smile. It sent a chill down my spine. And his eyes? I forced a polite smile in return and hurried away. That encounter quickly faded from my mind as I enjoyed the zoo. The sun hung lazily in the sky, the perfect weather for an outdoor escape. Yet, being a local zoo, there wasn't much to see. After lunch and the penguin show, I decided it was time to return to my hostel. I made my way to the cable car station that connected the zoo to the city. The path to the station was empty. I was alone, as though the world outside had come to a standstill. Suddenly, I felt an inexplicable urge to look behind me. There he was, the clown, standing just a few feet away, grinning as if he knew something I didn't. I stifled a gasp. The thought of sharing a cable car with him twisted my stomach into knots. I quickly veered off toward a landing area that overlooked the beach below, hoping he would move ahead. As I reached the fenced edge, the clown continued walking toward the cable car entrance. "Hey, clocking out?" the attendant called, a casual smile on his face. I exhaled a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. The clown nodded and stepped inside a car. Relieved, I made my way to the next car behind him. As the car glided smoothly over the city, the clown remained in front of me, sitting still, facing forward with his back to me. I was glad I couldn't see his face. When we reached the station, I stepped out, scanning the area for him. But he had vanished, as if he had never been there at all. Little did I know, the days that followed would transform my holiday into a waking nightmare. I first spotted him again in the park, lurking beneath the branches of a large tree. His vibrant costume stood out against the muted colors of dead leaves. "It's a different clown," I muttered to myself, forcing myself to look away. "Let's not go there." As I moved on to the next city, I saw him again in a small cafe, seated in the furthest corner, his eyes locking onto mine as if he was savoring my fear. It made my skin crawl. I felt exposed. I felt like a prey. When he appeared in the shadows of my hostel, I knew I had to act. I rushed to the police, breathless and frantic, relaying the story of the clown who seemed to be following me. "Ma'am, we have no record of any clowns working at the zoo," the officer said, his calm voice dismissive. "Are you sure you're not just seeing things? It might be the stress of your travels." Frustration bubbled within me. I wanted to scream, to make them understand. But as I left the police station, I felt a creeping sense of isolation. Who would believe me? The clown was real. I could feel him watching, lurking just out of sight. On the 5th day, I caught him outside my hostel, standing across the street, his grin stretching wider as he waved. I bolted outside, trembling but determined. "What do you want from me?" I shouted into the darkness. At first, there was only silence. But then I saw him, hiding behind a payphone booth. He flashed me that grin again, that dark, hungry grin. He stepped closer, ready to emerge from the shadows. When a hostile employee walked outside, the concern on his face obvious. Are you okay, love? He asked. I turned back to the payphone booth, but the clown had disappeared once more. Love? The hostel employee repeated, looking at me with genuine worry. I'm okay, I gasped, my breath coming in shaky bursts. I will be. That night, I changed my flight, desperate to escape the nightmare. As I packed my bags, I swore never to return, haunted by the knowledge that some shadows are too dark to chase away.